This is part 2 of Ways That Londoners Died in May 1665, and I said I'd come back and tell you about the plague and why it's so important to these documents. So I'm going to make myself smaller and hover over plague. So there it is, right below me, plague. And if you look right at the bottom of the document, there's actually official bits that you have to fill in every single week whether plague is there or not, to say if there is any presence of plague in the London parishes. And this week, 3 people were found to have died of plague. This is a really, really big deal because the Black Death came back to London in this year. And the whole reason that they have these bills of mortality is to try and track really scary illnesses. And the biggest and the most scariest was plague. And you can tell how scary it was because they have this extra bit to fill out whether plague was there or not. And the bills of mortality allow us to track how quickly this thing took hold. So this is May, 3 people. This one starts the week of June the 20th, and you can see it's jumped to 168. 4 weeks later again, in July, it's 725 people are registered of dying of plague. Give it another month, we're into August, and 1,843 people have died of plague in the parishes of London. By September, it's jumped to 5,533 people dying of plague that week. You have to respect the dedication, really, of them still even trying to record other causes of death. And look how many people teeth has killed that week, 112. Alright, let's jump forward again. This is the last week in September, and plague has now killed 7,165 people in the parishes around London. And the actual numbers would have been much, much higher than this. Someone asked on one of the other videos I did about bills of mortality, how reliable is this data? And the answer is not very. It's more of a guideline than anything else. And one of the reasons that it's not that reliable, beyond the fact that people don't really know what they're dealing with, is the people who are gathering this information are very, very, very poor people, paid a pittance, usually women, and they would go around people's houses and basically find out who had died there and take that information and write it down and pass it on. So when you're dealing with something like plague, you've got to remember that these extremely poor people had to go into houses where people had died of plague, where no one else was going, and do a kind of a quick head count. So, I mean, how diligent would you have actually been in your duty? Would you have actually gone in and really examined the bodies to make sure it was plague, or would you have perhaps just popped your head round the door and gone, yeah, that looks about right, I think that one died of teeth. But that doesn't mean these aren't very, very useful documents for trying to understand what was going on in London at the time. And it must have been absolutely terrifying.